everyone, this is Bernie from Stampin'up. Welcome back to my craft room this week. Super nice and super exciting to have you back. I am going to be doing this fun project with you, and I hope you're going to have fun making this alongside of me, or at least watching this video and then being inspired to have a go yourself. So let's have a look at the components. So I'm going to show you how I created this background. We've got a little bit of embossing happening there. I'll show you how I made that sort of distressed look. And then I used some designer series paper on the side and we did some embossing. So there's a lot of embossing in this one. And the little gold dots that look like embellishments are actually my new friend that I've been using everywhere, and that's the metallic effects. So shall we get started? There's quite a bit involved in this one. So we'll get started and hopefully you have fun doing that with me. So I accidentally cut my cardstock wrong. And so now I have a card that opens up as a tent formation, but that is okay. It's totally okay. You can have it that way. I personally don't like that card standing like that, but some people do, and that's all right. So what we're going to do first is we're just actually going to emboss this panel. And this is some designer series paper from the Thoughtful Wishes. And I'm going to do it with the quatrefoil embossing folder. So I'm just going to set that up in there. And let's just run that through the embossing folder. You will notice it's not a 3D folder. So I'm going to be using my normal embossing folders, not my plate number 4. So with the embossing, when we don't use, when it's not a 3D folder, we go plate 1. I actually have set some embossing folder plate 3s aside exclusively for non-3D embossing. So I've got emboss bottom, I've got my embossing folder in there, and emboss top, and I'm going to run that through. Quatrefoil is now on there and it really adds a bit of texture. So I'm just going to adhere this now with my liquid adhesive glue, and I'm butting this up right on the edge. All right, so we can set this panel to the side. So I'm just going to bring some paper in here to protect my surface. I have cut a frame with some vellum. You can use cardstock, but I just used an old retired rectangular die to create a frame, and I'm just going to put that down with some washi tape so that it doesn't move. You could actually put this onto a silicone sheet, and that way it really won't stick. So I'm just going to put that on, and adhering that. Okay. So I've got that all set up. Now I have cut some narrow strips of masking paper. I'm now going to place these across. So as you can see, I've used this a few times. Place this one across, just anywhere, not anywhere in particular. It's no thought given to where I want it to be. And now we can start our blending. So I'm going to start with Daffodil Delight and my blending brush. Right, and I'm going to, the bit that is open over here and over here is what I'm going to blend. I'm going to remove this strip, and I'm just going to put it in a random place down there and bring in this one. Create another strip over here, bring in my Daffodil Delight, and I'm blending in between. Let's bring in a different color now. So removing this, I'm going to bring in some lemon lime twist. I'm going in between. And I'm just going to come in over here. Do some lemon lime twist. I'm now going to start going, actually I might just bring in one more color. I'll bring in my pool party, and I want it over there. Now let's go across. So I want a strip over here. Let's just do the pool party while I've got it open. Got a little bit of a bleed there from my blending brush. So let's just do something with that. Bring that in there. And I might just go with the green. Come back with the lemon lime twist. Here we go. And now I'm going to bring a lemon lime twist in on the diagonal. If you had smaller blending brushes, you probably wouldn't have that issue that I'm having. But I don't have the smaller ones, so. And now I want to bring in a really rogue color. I'm going to bring in wild wheat. We'll do one strong panel of wild wheat. Okay, and I'm going to do one more wild wheat, and I'm just going to do it over here. And then we're done with our background. Whoops, I can see I've done it again, gone over there. So just do be careful. I definitely would recommend a smaller brush for this. Pull this off. Fantastic. All right. So as you can see, let me just bring this closer. We've got a background there now. And I'm just going to pull my frame off, which is why I put it onto the silicone sheet, so that it just makes it a lot easier. Let's take that off, and now we can trim this down, because as you can see there's some stitch marks there from the frame. So I'm just going to trim this down with my paper trimmer. Let's just get rid of that. So this will be definitely will be something that you just need to have a look at your own design. So this one is a little bit different because I had a white frame around it. I'm going to make this one a little bit different in that it doesn't have a white frame. It's a little bit broader, and that's all good. You can change this up. So I just want to rough this up. I like doing this sort of technique on my cards. I really enjoy the texture, tearing paper, roughing things up, sanding. I've always enjoyed texture. Even when I started doing scrapbooking many decades ago, I would do the same thing. It just adds a lot of interest to something that's flat, like paper. So that is looking good. Now we can set that to the side because we're going to do some die cutting. I'm going to bring back that pool party, and I'm going to bring my blue blending brush, and I'm just going to blend over some basic white cardstock, just some scrap. I like that. I'll leave that. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a batch of die cutting all at the same time. I have some of the glimmer paper, and I've put some adhesive sheet behind, and using the dies from the Thoughtful Wishes, I'm going to die cut a few things together. So I'm going to use this die from this piece of scrap I've just colored. We're going to die cut that, and then I've got a piece of wild wheat that I'm going to die cut this leaf, but I'm also going to use my dies from the Alphabet a la Mode, but you can use whatever ones you have. And I'm going to put in high. I'm just going to bring in my cut and emboss machine, so we'll do those two. Do one more pass, and I just want to make sure that my H and my I are where the adhesive sheets are placed, and I'm using my leaf. Alright, let's pop that through. So if I bring this panel back, let's have a look. We're going to start with the gold. But before we do that, I need to add a little bit of Pool Party. I just want to make it darker on some of the edges. And I'm going to drag some of this through my Versamark, just here and there. So I'm just going to dab them in my Versamark. And now I need to just be really careful. I'm just going to hold this with my tweezer, spoon out, and I'm going to sprinkle the gold embossing powder over it. So it looks like I backed up quite a lot. So let's emboss it using the heat tool gun. Excellent. So it looks like I picked up a little bit more with this one, but that's all right. So that's going to go over here. So we can pop this all on this background now that we've created. So that's going to go there. I'm just going to add some glue onto my little flowers here and there. Put that down. And then my leaf, I see it's actually got some adhesive on it, but I'm not going to be fussing with that because I want to put some dimensionals on the back of this just to give it some height. And that's going to go up here. Take that off because what's happened here is because of the paper, let's just peel that off and get rid of this. There we go. Right, so we're popping that over there. And the H and the I, and then we'll do the ribbon. Okay, the H, it's also got the paper on it. It's just that first little tug that takes a little bit of time, and then once it goes, and pop that next to it. Awesome, we're making good progress now. So the only thing that's left to do is to do the ribbon. So what I've done here is I've cut some of my Pool Party ribbon, and I'm just going to cut it in half, and I'm just going to thread this. If you watch me regularly, you'll know I love to do this with my ribbons. It just adds a bit of texture, and we're going to make a bow. Nice, generous bow. I actually toyed with the idea of putting linen thread, but it looked completely lost. So that's why I've gone with the Pool Party. Again, I like the textures of the fibers on the bow. That's going to go over there to cover the bit where they all come together. I'm just using my paper scissors to trim off the excess. And now we can pop that onto our card base. I'm going to put this onto dimensionals. I just feel it needs a bit of height. There you have your card. There's one last step that I need to do, and that is to add our metallic effects. So I'm going to just do a gentle squeeze over here, and I'll put it down at the bottom for this one. And then leave that to dry, and then it'll all be ready when it's dried in about 15-20 minutes time. It'll be good to go. So I hope you found that inspirational to do your own background. As you can see, there's a little bit of blending that blurred over there, but you know what, I don't really mind. This is a handmade card. This is not something manufactured overseas. So show you the difference. The one has got the frame from around, and then the other one I've trimmed it off completely. So I hope that inspires you to give this technique a go. Play around with your inks and have a fun border, create a fun border in the background. So that's me for this week. If you've liked what you've seen today, click the like button, the subscribe, so that you get weekly notifications of when I come live. And I look forward to seeing you back in my craft room next week. And remember, until we meet again, to stamp, to eat, to sleep, and repeat. Bye!